Traditions of Civilizations and Societies. India. Hinduism. The Indus Valley was a cradle of civilization. The Indus River was called Sindhu in Sanskrit, Indos in Greek, and Hindus in Old Persian. Sindhu became the country name India, as well as the name Hindu for the religion of the land. Hinduism is the oldest religion and the oldest surviving culture of the ancient world. Sanatana Dharma, eternal faith, is another term for the original Hindu teachings that many offshoots such as Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism stem from. These teachings include samsara, wandering, the circle of death and rebirth, also called reincarnation. The Atman, or soul, is what does not perish from one life to the next. Moksha, liberation, also called nirvana, it is the end goal after mastering this mortal existence. Paths that lead to liberation include karma, action. Our good actions bring happiness in this life and in the life to come. Bad actions bring future unhappiness. Good deeds can be seen as acts of worship. Jnana, knowledge. Study and learning is considered to be another path to enlightenment and liberation. Bhakti, worship. One may also seek moksha through devotion to a god. This involves rituals, prayers, and offerings. An ideal life obtains the mastery of the following: dharma, completing one's duties, living in truth, rata, being an ethical and moral person; artha, securing the means to material prosperity; kama, pleasure, love, recreation, and fulfillment. One may master dharma through moral values, artha through economic values, and kama through psychological values. Moksha is then mastered through spiritual values. In old age, many leave material cares and seek spirituality as hermits. An ashram is a hermitage or monastic community where one may dedicate themselves solely to spiritual pursuits. The Vedas, wisdom, are the Hindu scriptures. They were memorized through song for thousands of years and written in Sanskrit 4,000 years ago. Many of the terms from the Vedas were passed on to later traditions of India, China, and Persia. The deities of the Vedas also made their way into the pantheons of world religions. The gods of Jainism and Buddhism are called devas and asuras, just as they are in the Vedas. Early Hinduism is called Vedic. Yoga. Yoke, bond, union. Yoga is briefly mentioned in the Rig Veda, but yoga writings began around 900 BCE, and those teachings were organized into the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali in the 4th century. Yogic Hinduism adheres to the basic teachings of Hinduism with an emphasis on the duality of the material and spiritual universe, and the mystical union of the two. Along with Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, yogis have added Raja Yoga, best connection, as a path to moksha. Raja Yoga is considered the best path to liberation. It is mindful introspection to the point of uniting or harmonizing mind and soul with the ultimate reality. Brahman is a Vedic term for the firm expanse of the universe that includes all. In yoga, it is also called Purusha. Raja Yoga is meditation for the mind. Hatha Yoga involves breathing exercises, pranayama, and balancing poses, asanas, for the body. Kriya Yoga deals with actions such as asceticism or tapas, abstinence from unworthy pleasures, japa, recitation of mantras or prayers, and bhakti, devotion to the Lord. Kundalini Yoga is a combination of Bhakti Yoga for devotion, Shakti Yoga for power, and Raja Yoga for mental strength to ultimately achieve absolute creative potential. Kundalini Yoga also incorporates the breathwork and postures of Hatha Yoga. It is believed that by doing so, an energy that lies dormant at the base of the spine can be awakened and travel up the energy centers of the body called chakras. Vedanta, End of the Vedas. Vedanta refers to many Hindu philosophies that resulted from the literature of gurus that lived in the first millennium BCE, i.e., the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. Puranic Hinduism is another term for post-Vedic beliefs. It is also called the classical period. The term Puranic comes from a collection of writings called the Puranas, ancient books. Vaishnavism, Vishnu Dharma. This school places the Vedic solar deity Vishnu as the eternal source of all. He sent emanations of himself to earth called avatars. The avatar Krishna is worshipped as the Supreme Lord. Shaivism, Shiva Dharma. The Shaivites place Shiva, who is the water deity Rudra in the Vedas, as the supreme being. Shaivites practice asceticism and yoga. Shaktiism. This school places emphasis on the goddess Adi Parashakti, first supreme power, as the energy that creates and destroys the universe, also called Devi or just Shakti. She is the goddess from which all gods and goddesses emanate. From her right, left, and third eye came the three goddesses of the Tridevi, Kali, Saraswati, and Lakshmi. Samkhya, reasoning rational. This school was started by the yogic sage Kapila in the first millennium BCE. It is known for the idea of three gunas or qualities that make up the character of all things. The qualities are divided into sattva, positivity, truth, lightness, and balance; rajas, passion and creativity; tamas, destruction, heaviness, and chaos. Each of the Hindu philosophies have influenced the others. Samkhya, like yoga and Tantra, teaches duality, but rather than the union of opposites, Samkhya teaches that the withdrawal of consciousness from matter is the ultimate goal, which is more like Buddhism. Prakriti is matter, and Purusha is consciousness. Purusha eternally connects everything. It is also the soul or higher self of an individual, because all things are connected. In Samkhya, moksha is believed to be the natural evolutionary destination of all souls. Tantra, to weave. The Tantras are a collection of occult or lesser-known writings that frame an unorthodox school of thought practiced by Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, Tibetan Bon, Chinese Taoist, and Japanese Shinto traditions. The Tantras, also called Agamas and Samhitas, were written in the first centuries of the Common Era. They contain ritualistic practices and initiation rites. Practices include jhana, philosophical and spiritual knowledge through study under the guidance of a guru; yoga, mental and physical discipline through meditation and posture; kundalini yoga, enlightenment through ecstatic energies; dream yoga, a trance state where instruction and enlightenment can be gleaned; construction of temples; puja, ritual worship including purification of the temple, images of the gods, and one's body; mantras, repeated prayers; mudras, hand gestures; mandalas and yantras, diagrams that symbolize the unity of spirit and matter, the macrocosm and the microcosm, the divine and the mundane; diksha, initiation ritual; shaktipat, the transference of energy from teacher to pupil by touch, usually on the forehead or ajna chakra. The energy can also be transferred through a mantra or even by thought. Maithuna, sexual union. Siddhis are supernatural abilities that are acquired through tantric practice. Visualization, pilgrimage, processions, ritual feasts, music and dance, vows, ascetic practices like fasting are all practiced in Tantra. In the Tantric view, the material world is part of the spiritual world and therefore good. The goal is to see the unity of the two. In order to condition the mind for the ultimate reality, taboos are intentionally broken, such as animal sacrifice, eating meat and other forbidden foods, drinking alcohol, smoking cannabis, and ritual sex. A man and a woman visualize themselves as the two divine forces, Shiva and Shakti, and realize the divine within themselves. Everyone and everything is part of and one with the divine. Tantra permeates much of Shaktiism. It has influenced all of the Vedanta schools. Again, the terms, practices, and beliefs of Indian religions are variously and freely shared by each other. Vajrayana, Thunderbolt Vehicle, is the Buddhist school of Tantra. Jains only practice Dakshinachara, right-hand path, or good Tantra. Dakshinachara involves the secret teachings of Tantra without the taboos. Vamachara, left-hand path, or dark Tantra, is practiced in Tibetan Buddhism and in Shaktism of southern India. Jainism, Jain Dharma, victors of right action. Jainism was founded by Jina Mahavira in the 5th century BCE. As an offshoot of Hinduism, Jainism shares many common concepts, terms, and puja rituals. Some ideas unique to Jainism include Ratnatraya, the three gems, which are three paths to moksha. They are right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. Jiva is the life force of anything that is alive. Sanskrit jivas, to live, has the same root as the Latin word vivus, alive. Jiva Atman is a living soul. Tirthankaras are rare souls that have reached liberation and are worthy of worship. Arihantas are people that became all-knowing devas, gods, and still have bodies. Siddhas are gods who do not have material bodies. The 5 main vows of Jains are Ahimsa, nonviolence, Satya, truth, Asteya, not stealing, Brahmacharya, chastity or celibacy, and Aparigraha, non-attachment. Ahimsa is a concept in all of the major religions of India. It means not to harm any living being. Those that follow Ahimsa are vegetarian. Aparigraha is an ascetic renunciation of material possessions. Attachment to possessions is thought to lead to harm to others. Siddhashila is the realm of liberated beings. Devaloka is the heavenly dwelling place of the devas, gods. Humans live in the middle level, and the evil beings dwell below in Naraka. Like Buddhism, Sikhism, and Hinduism, Jainism teaches meditation, fasting, karma, dharma, samsara, and moksha. Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist cosmology all refer to a place at the center of the cosmos called Mount Meru. Buddhism. Buddhism has become a major world religion, but its founder, the Indian-born prince Siddhartha Gautama, studied among Hindu ascetics around 500 BCE. His teachings include basic Hindu concepts such as samsara, dharma, moksha, and karma. Like the Samkhya school and Jainism, Buddhism does not concern itself with a separate creator god because all things are believed to be part of the one. Samkhya Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism also teach that there are perfected beings called devas and asuras. These beings with godlike abilities live in the heavens above the earth. Another similarity between Buddhism and Samkhya is the teaching that dukkha, misery or distress, is due to ignorance. Gautama's teachings are clearly derived from Hinduism and the ideas that were circulating in his day. The fundamentals unique to Buddhism are that we are stuck in a world of illusion called Maya, and the only way out of being continually reborn is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path. These 8 virtues are right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. That is the Dharma. Siddhartha Gautama, while in deep yogic meditation, obtained nirvana and became known as the Buddha. The 2 main divisions of Buddhism are Theravada, School of the Elders, the oldest existing branch of Buddhism, and the preservers of the Tripitaka, 3 baskets, also called the Pali Canon, books that contain the teachings of the Buddha. This branch is strong in southern Asia. Similar to Hindu ashrams, all branches of Buddhism have monasteries with monks that practice meditation and renunciation. Monkhood is a religious way of life in which one renounces worldly pursuits and seeks spirituality. Mahayana, Great Vehicle. This branch spread across the whole of Asia and is gaining influence worldwide. Mahayana schools of Buddhism include Pure Land, which worships Amitabha as the supreme Buddha that lived many lives as a bodhisattva, In Mahayana, an enlightened being may choose to return to life as a bodhisattva to help others. Zen, which is centered around meditation. Nichiren, based on faith, chanting, and reading the works of Nichiren, a 13th century Buddhist priest from Japan. Shingon, based on esoteric or secret mantras and mandalas that made their way to Japan from the tantric writings of India. Tiantai is a Chinese form of Buddhism based on the Lotus Sutra and the teachings of Ziyi. One such teaching is that through observation of the mind, one can rapidly obtain enlightenment. Vajrayana is Tantric Buddhism and is a subset of Tibetan Buddhism, which is divided into Nyingma, ancient and shamanistic, Kagyu, oral transmission of the Great Mudra, Sakya, the red hats who figuratively look for the fruits on the path, and Gelug, the yellow hats, of which the famed Dalai Lama belongs. Sikhism, disciple, learner, or seeker. Founded around 1500 CE by a man called Guru Nanak in what was then northern India, present-day Pakistan. He and his successors wrote the Guru Gobind Singh, a collection of hymns that are Sikh scripture. The basic teachings of the Gurus are that there is one supreme being that is shapeless and timeless. By meditating on his names and reciting the hymns or chanting the word Way Guru, which means wonderful teacher, one connects with the divine, cleanses the mind, and gains strength against the 5 thieves, which are ego, anger, greed, attachment, and lust. The 5 virtues are truth, compassion, contentment, humility, and love. Guru Nanak was a Hindu bhakti saint. Thus we find similarities in his teachings with other Indian religions. For example, Sikhism teaches that worldly attractions are an illusion called Maya, that we are in an age the Hindus call Kali Yuga, that souls are reincarnated, that Ishvara, Bhagavan, and Brahman are names for the all-encompassing God. The Islamic name Allah is also used. The Vedic and Puranic gods of Hinduism are referred to as beings, but they are not to be worshipped. Samsara, moksha, bhakti, dharma, and karma are all taught in Sikhism. The Sikh view of mukti, moksha or liberation, is seen as oneness with God by the grace of God, and karma is what the grand architect deals out. Ahimsa is mirrored by Daya, and Amridhari Sikhs are strict vegetarians. Also, the goddess references found in the Dasam Granth are related to Tantra ideas found in Buddhism and Hinduism. Because of Islamic persecution, Sikhs were militarized and baptized as Khalsa, pure ones. Baptism consists of drinking sweet water stirred by a sword. The drink is called Amrit, after Amrita, the nectar of the gods in Hinduism. The Khalsa are commanded to wear 5 Ks at all times. They are kesh, uncut hair; kangha, a wooden comb for the hair; kara, an iron bracelet; kachera, a cotton tieable undergarment; and kirpan, an iron dagger large enough to defend oneself. Many Sikhs wear a symbolic dagger on jewelry instead. Radha Swami, Lord of Radha, aka Krishna, founded by Shiv Dayal Singh in 1861 in India. They share Hindu ideas about gurus, karma, and yoga, but reject scriptures and rituals. Hare Krishna, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is a Hindu-based religion formed by Indian-born Swami Prabhupada in 1966 in New York.